misunderstanding. We're on a mission from God.
They shouldn't have given you ashy blokes YouTube.
Cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
All right, good people. It's Tuesday, and I am definitely punching the clock with this one. Okay, this is something people have been asking me to do. Okay, and this is a very old topic. Okay, about why are there so few black women married? Right? We've the manosphere has talked about that for the last 20 years. Okay, and the black manosphere especially has talked about why black women aren't married for the last 20 years, and this stuff goes all the way back to hell. This stuff goes back to the 60s. Okay, and when it was less of a problem. Okay, when it really started jumping off, William Julius Wilson, they're still using the same old argument about the truly disadvantaged and black men being in jail and being underemployed and being undereducated. So that stuff is still out there. It's never gone away. Black women have always used it, and guess what? Nobody's trying to solve it. Okay, because that's not got, in my opinion, that's really not the underlying reason why black women don't get married. But we'll get into that. Okay, let me welcome some people. Oh, Shannon's up first. Batting first. Oh, batting second. Toya the Tutor. We trust in her swings, right? Are you gonna drive the run home, or are you gonna just move the runner along? Devon, what's going on? Very Little, what's happening? Adric, it's on. What's going on? Dusty Jones, I got 5 on it, hitting the 5 spot. I heard that. Batting 6, AB Media, Instant Media beaming in on Transporter Pad 7. My Waffle House King, the Loki Stormbringer. Philip, what's going on? Brandon, what's going on? Ricky, Black Males. I said the contract was broken from the start. I don't think there was ever a contract. I really don't think there ever was. I think it was an understanding more than anything else. Big Trick, what's happening? AL, what's going on? Jay Cleveland, what's going on? Carl, what's happening? Luther, Black Money and Power, what's going on? Rain Lab, what's up? Carl, Quentin, Prince. The BGS, these sorry black heifers want us to send for Angel Reese. Now, my response is kick rock. She can't play basketball. Yeah, well, we might talk about that tomorrow because this is getting out of hand. Hey, I got one word for you, Turtle. Wagner. What's up? Me and Turtle had a long discussion on my Patreon on Sunday about Bitcoin and currencies and stuff like that. We had about an hour. Money Motion, what's up? Saint Seer, yeah. Basically, the Russians and Traore is all over the news now, man. You can't every time you look up, can't talk about Africa without talking about Burkina Faso and Traore. Independent POV, what's up? I saw when she was talking about it on her channel. I was like, Master already has been informed about it. Yes, okay. And well, he's having a problem with his own women, much less her. He can't do anything about hers. He can't do anything about her man. J.K. Son, what's going on? Kelvin, Martin Muhammad, what's going on? Hey, wait one make a minute. No YouTube notification. All these ninjas are already here. Yeah, they just show up at the appointed time. That's all. Black Toxic Masculine, what's going on? Tunnel Runner with his reparations in the house. Okay. Michael, what's going on? Dollar Washer. Kyle, what's going on? L, what's happening? Bruce on Wayne, what's happening? Our Haitian Dusty King. Mr. Snazzy, what's going on? Big Mo. Let's see. Jeffrey, what's happening? We've got Brandon Lewis. Not a fan of her channel. Well, the thing is, if you're into, she's a I like Sabby Sabs is good for alternative politics. She's a former Bernie bro or Bernie Sanders voter, so she's a disaffected liberal or disaffected leftist. So I mean, so you have to just like it. You may not like her personality, but thing is, she's an insider. So Michael Ross, what's going on? DJ B side, what's going on? Compassion and Callous, what's going on? Jay, okay, catch me on the replay. What did you think about that video when I sent you about talking about the Orezhniks? Black Money and Power. Started talking to my aunt and found out my grandmother had the same mindset about marriage. I thought my sister was the first feminist, but it turned out to be my grandma. Go figure. It goes way back, okay? That's why I said it probably behooves you to read some of Polly Murray's work because this stuff goes all the way back to the 30s. Said Kirk Anton Alton. Okay. Yeah, it is. We've talked about this kind of stuff. I've shown charts about this crap, up, down, and sideways. Okay, so I didn't want to dig out my charts about this because everybody knows the stats. Mongo, what's going on? Hey, Mongo, how come Baltimore girls always stir up some shit, man? PM, what's happening? Babu? Hey, little Maple Leaf, what's happening? Where you been, man? Hope you making some money. Harvest 2, what's going on? We'll talk about her tomorrow, man. We'll get to Angel Reese tomorrow. If Snowman's in the house, he can help me. Yeah, Wagner Group. Wanger Group? Oh, no, Wagner, not Wanger. I have no. Wanger sounds like a porn star troupe or a black male exotic dance troupe. Okay. Half Lock, what's going on? Pookie, what's happening? What's your thoughts on the Megan Thee Stallion? I never thought he did it in the first place, but he took the rap for it. But I'd like to know why. Galen Wells, what's going on? I haven't been off of YouTube. I don't know. I'm gone. I've gone a day, and people think I'm gone. I've left. Doc, what's happening? Double A King, what's going on? Richard Ross, she was sharing divestiture content. She can over there. She's married to a white man, so yeah, she would be sharing divestiture content. She married to a white man, so she's sharing her perspective. Free Diddy, yeah, might have. Diddy done has done a whole lot of dirt, okay, and sometimes your sins catch up with you. He should have been on that island, okay, out of reach, but he want to stay here. Master Teacher Tax, I got a meeting in 15. Replay game. Thank you, Ilias. Frugal Fabrication, what's happening? Mr. Donnie Mac. Sabby, yeah, I guess you could call her cute. She's average. Painless, what's going on? Driving to Birmingham, tuned in. Okay, appreciate you. 40 acres and a white woman. Shit. I'm listening. What's going on? Afro Merchant, what's happening? Ray, what's happening? And Dracone, what's going on? Okay, let's go ahead and get this party started. So where we're going to start, I think, is with the initial thing, because she was actually reacting to Shay Sade. There's the spook that sits by the door. What's going on, MS Delta? Uh, we got to send MS Delta some crying towels and some holy water for the white folks you got to deal with. Okay, that are crying right now. Oh, one, MS Delta, what do you think about the budget bill that's going through even a lot of the Republicans don't like, is because the how they're handling Medicare, and the second is, what do you think about the Supreme Court Supreme Court hearing on the birthright citizenship? What up, Johnny? Because I know the big thing is going to be Medicare and the budget, so that's not going away. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. The initial thing was from Shay Sade talking about Michelle Obama. Okay, so we're going to start with her talking about Michelle Obama, and then when she gets into the number of women that are married. Okay. Number one, can y'all see this? It said Baltimore women are a special breed. I'm starting to think that because Angel Reese is a Baltimore woman. Instead, everybody's trying to downplay it and diffuse it, and she's trying to play it up. All right. Okay. Since everybody can see it, let's go ahead and play it. This is Shay Sade, and this is a short. She talked about Michelle Obama. I think I might have played this before, but
devolution away from like family values. It is, you're married, but now you're acting single, and you're not in like, you're public about it though. Like, you've already told the world, you've shown the world that you're not willing to back your husband. You guys are not willing to move in unison when it comes to these really, really important things. You've shown the world that. Now you're going online talking about protecting your individual peace as a married woman. She's speaking as if she is a single woman. And again, this would not be a problem if she wasn't literally a global leader, but she is. She is. It is a...
And that's the problem. That's why she's the icon of what we're talking about right now. She's really literally an icon of gynocracy. But this is the video that triggered Sabby. Okay, I think Sabby is triggered by Shay Sade is because Sabby is married to a white man, and Sabby talks about the relationship between white women and black women. Okay. Said facts, they crying, also no more money. Also, some people saying birthright for black folks. The main theme is to force negotiations in all areas to slow the decline. That is true. They're trying to slow the decline. People don't realize that. Okay. The whole thing about I know you want to bust their noodle. You introduce them to Scott Bessent and in his background.
26% of black women today in America, at least, are married. 26%. There's a reason for that. And it goes down to perceptions we have about marriage. Submission is seen as, but submission is seen as some old patriarchal, domineering, disrespectful, oppressive idea. So they get in these marriages and they want to box with their husbands as soon as they don't agree. They don't want to yield. They want to do their own thing. They want to remain single in marriage. And that doesn't work very well. Because like I said, at the end of the day, no man.
That's the whole thing. That's the key. I want to stop it right there, right? Black women want to remain single within marriage, okay? They want their autonomy and their independence with and their husband to back that up, okay? Especially in modern marriage where they don't need you financially like they used to. Back in the day, okay, if she didn't feed that man and take care of that man, and that man didn't go out to work on 14 hours, the whole family would starve, and she knew it. But as soon as she didn't need him to do that, guess what she did? Okay, she put her boots on the ground. Okay.
Man wants to feel like they're married to somebody who's competitive or who's their competition. And that's what this is looking like. It looks really bad. Really bad. Okay, so now I want to bring up, to continue this point, I want to bring up another clip that I saw of her giving advice to the younger generation. Then we're going to break that down. 26%.
That's the part on X that
I
triggered
still
her.
to this day find it incredible that people don't think that this works.
26% of Black women today in America, at least, are married.
See, that's what triggered Savvy. Okay, and so now we're gonna actually get into the myth. Okay, what she calls a myth. Okay, I don't know why they take umbrage with this stuff and keep spitting the same tired facts that that they've been spitting since, like, say, the late 70s, early 80s. The exact same facts. They really want to see the whole entire antecedents of it, because they talked about this back in the 70s and 80s about the destruction of the Black family. Okay, way back then. Okay, what was causing it, and they always lay the blame on the Black man's labor. Okay, and that's how come they always disavow what Moynihan said. Moynihan Clark said, because Moynihan Clark probably were right. Okay, Moynihan said if he had known how right he was, he probably would have never put out the report. He didn't think the problem was as bad as he actually found out once he dug into it. He said the problem was actually worse than he thought. And had he known that, he said he wouldn't put the report out. He'd have kept quiet. For yet another great breakdown, it's their failure, not the Black man. It's okay. The thing is, the failure is the society. Failure is the structure of Black people in the society. Okay, and the thing is, they won't own up to the choices that they made. Okay, because they want to be the internal victim. It's not a Handmaid's Tale, but some feel if women aren't enough. Don't have enough children, then Uncle Sam can leave them in the wilderness. LA, no more money. Well, the thing is, Uncle Sam's money is your money. If you don't generate money, okay, that's the whole thing. Uncle Sam doesn't have money. Okay, Uncle Sam has your money. If you don't generate money, okay, if the common folks don't generate money, Uncle Sam doesn't have money. If you don't spend money on goods and services, Uncle Sam doesn't have money. Uncle Sam doesn't have any money. That's your money. The thing is, how is your money distributed? And if there are no more workers to give Uncle Sam money, guess what he's going to have to do? He's going to have to cut back. Anyway, let's get busy with Savvy and this bullshit.
Years ago on ABC, where they spoke to Black women who were professionals who were struggling, I guess, to find, a husband. And even though that was years ago, I'm going to show you that just to show you how, once again, this subject has come back up again.
Well, she's in that political world. Got to remember, she was she was an activist. She was, I think she was a reporter, and I think she became a political consultant. So those are the people that she's around. So her mannerisms, that kind of stuff, is because that's the class of people that she's in. So she will present as a white woman dipped in chocolate
in the U.S. And at the end of the day, I'm going to tie it all to math, because I think for one, don't believe that men are just sitting back and they're like, I do not find Black women physically attractive. Everybody has like their type, right? But I don't like that. I haven't had that experience. I don't think that's what this is really about. I think a lot of this comes to basic.
Yeah, it's always Jermaine's fault. Very true.
Math. Now, this is the video that is going viral. We're going to go ahead and bring it in here. Because once again, this subject is back in the headlines.
26% of Black women today in America, at least, are married. 26%. There's a reason for that. And it goes down to perceptions we have about marriage. Submission is seen as, the submission is seen as some old patriarchal, domineering, disrespectful, oppressive idea. So like in these marriages, and they want to.
There's nothing that she said is untrue, because if you read the literature, it says the exact same thing. Even white women say this, the exact same thing, and Black women have been saying this, especially the Black feminists. They've been preaching this for a long time. Okay.
Box with their husbands as soon as they don't agree. They don't want to yield. They want to do their own thing. They want to remain single in marriage, and that doesn't work very well. Because like I said, at the end of the day, no man wants to feel like they're married to somebody who's competitive or who's their competition. And that's what this is looking like. It looks really bad. It's really bad. Okay, so now I want to bring up, to continue this point, I want to bring up another clip that I saw of her giving advice to the younger generation.
So we pause it here. So this is the video that's giving people like vibes, and people are seeing this and they're like, is this real? Is that number true? So
it is. Wait a minute, is that number true? Okay. Wait a minute. They've been talking about this number over and over and over again for the past 40 years. What do you mean, is that number true? Yes.
The number has changed over the years. I'm going to show you the difference. But I gotta, I gotta say a couple of things before we get into what that number used to look like, right? Because years ago it was 42%.
Yeah,
right. So
early 80s.
let's talk for a second. First and foremost, many people will ask, has that been your experience? That has not been my experience. However, I do have friends that have had that as part of their experience. And as I told you earlier, I do not believe that the majority, the number one reason is, oh, people just don't find Black women physically attractive.
She didn't say that. Nobody said that. Okay. See, the thing is, how would society have been affected by, had Monahan not released a report? Would the Black Family Society be better off? I think he said it would have been, either been the same or worse. But the thing is, he'd have kept quiet, because he took a lot of political hits for that. That's probably why. And what he found out, there was nothing he could do about it. It was going to happen anyway. So even though he brought it up, he brought up about Clark's work. Okay, they fought it, and what was going to happen to the Black family happened anyway. It seems like she's not trying to step on Black women's toes. Probably not. Okay, but I don't know why you even bring this up. Why this even bothers you? I said lock out Keisha. Oh, hey, MS Delta. Adrian just sent me a notice, man, that Keisha Lance Bottoms is running for governor. Okay, so of Georgia. So I guess if she gets elected, we're gonna have a Governor Keisha. Keisha goes to the big house. Okay.
Active and da. That is not what I believe. I believe a lot of this comes down to simple math. When you look at a person's certain type, right? Black women, the studies show Black women are more likely to choose to date or to marry. Let's go with marry. They're more likely to choose to marry a Black man.
True.
More than any other.
I don't. Is that because that's what she wants, or is that because that's all she can get?
The group. But do the numbers reflect that? So I'm gonna take you back to this segment on ABC. This is
Snowman. I may be doing a reaction to the political stuff that's going on with this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark stuff, because it's crossed over from basketball. We called it at the time. Okay, they're gonna make a big thing out of this. Okay, which is probably why the referees try to give Caitlin Clark a flagrant, okay, to tone this kind of stuff down. But I guess it didn't do any good. So I might be doing that one tomorrow. That's it. It's a while some black one fiddling while Rome is burning. Well, yeah, because they're the one that set the fire.
It's really interesting, right? I saw this on TV when it came out. Now, this is like over what, 15, I think, or 15 years ago? 42% of Black women are unmarried. Check this out.
It's just not that easy. For starters, there are more Black women than Black men, 1.8 million more. So even if every Black man in America married a Black woman today, 1 out of 12 still wouldn't make it down the aisle. Let's take 100 Black men. If you eliminate those without a high school diploma, those without a job, and the number of Black men between the ages of 25 and 34 who are incarcerated, that leaves only about half of Black men.
See how far back this goes? Okay.
And eligible to pop the question.
Let's go back to those numbers. Now, this was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been trying to explain to people. If you go back to what I said before, right? That
half of Black men,
54% eligible. So if you go back to what I said in the beginning, that Black women, most Black women are more likely to marry a Black man. Okay. Now think about the numbers that they just gave you. So this is including, there's more Black women than there are Black men. Then you have to remove those who are.
The arguments are the same, man. We have been hearing these arguments since the 1980s. It has not changed. Okay, same arguments.
Already married, those who are already taken. Don't forget the prison, the prison and industrial complex. I've talked about this before on the show. The school to prison pipeline. So that's two.
Why do they act like 90 like 50% of Black men are just going to prison? Okay, and that's not true. Okay. And they proved that, because they used to say there are more Black men in prison than there are in college. They found out that's never been true. It's never been true. And if you look at the graduation gap between Black men and Black women as far as getting degrees, okay, it's only maybe a 4 or 5%. Okay, it's not 30 or 40. It's not triple digits. Okay, it's only like 4 or 5%. So there's more than enough college graduate Black males for college graduate Black females. More than enough.
Some people marry people in prison, but most people don't. Let's just be real. Then you have to think about those who just don't want to be married and they want to be bachelors.
Well, that's what she said. The ones that don't want to be married. Okay. Why aren't all the eligible Black men married then? Yeah. They never broached that subject.
It's like forevers. It is what it is. That's 3. Then you also have to remove those who are not straight. Like, so you have to remove Black men that are LGBTQ,
which is only about 6 or 7%. Okay. Whereas LGBTQ Black women are like 26%, according to them. This should still, by that token, there still should be more than enough.
Right. So the number, think about everything I just said. The number is going to continue to decrease of the men that are available to you. So you're working with the smaller pool.
I thought Gabby was more analytical than this BS. She is. It's just like anything else. Okay. What she's taught about is not her realm. Social science is not her realm. Okay. She is a political animal. Okay. And she's an insider. So politically, she's more analytical. For this kind of stuff, she's not. I said, we need answers. If there are so little men available to marry, why are there more married Black men than Black women? Why? They never answer that. They never even bring that up.
That's why I say a lot of this is basic math. Now,
no, it's not basic math. Okay, there's no such thing as basic math when it comes to stats. Okay. Yeah, we have heard all this before, even debunked the stats. So this will be considered a reboot or a remake or a return rerun because it has never gone away. Where's her man? Her man is white. Okay, that's why her man is, she married to a white man. She's gonna get into that.
Some people see this and they'll say, oh, well, Sabby, what do you know? You're married. I am, but I wasn't always married. Somebody say to you, oh, Sabby, what do you know? You're not married to a black guy. No, I'm not. But again, I wasn't always married. Once upon a time, I did date. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to go on a little bit more in this segment because I want you to see the women that they sit down and they talk to. All of these women have professional jobs.
Like that means something. Okay, I'm confused. Black women say often that they are marrying white men faster than any other group. In 2025, why is there a black woman marriage deficit if white men are available? Because they're not available. Yeah, Shorty's a leftist. Yeah, she's a left. She's a Bernie bro socialist. Yes, she is. And white supremacy is so beautifully sinister. No matter why there are 1.8 million less outgroup men than outgroup men that beat the odds and still invisible. Yeah. I think American black males are the only group where there's more females than there are males. I think if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but we're one of the few groups that we're especially a sizable number of females. Okay, most groups in the world don't have that imbalance that we have.
Jobs, very smart. And I want you to hear some of the things that they say. Again, this was 15 years ago, and you tell me if this still holds true today.
And eligible to pop the question. Nicole sees the problem every day.
It is sad to see that the majority of the defendants that we prosecute are black males. Those numbers can be very disappointing.
Admittedly, the selection of men is slim. Get it through your head. You're the Friday girl that's just for sex. That's what you are.
We broached this serious dilemma with comedian turned relationship guru Steve Harvey, author of the book Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man.
There are still a lot of good men out there who are being overlooked.
Harvey says black women don't have to settle, but may need to compromise.
You a corporate exec? Does he have to be a corporate exec? You make $150,000 a year. He has to make $100,000.
It's the same argument. The same argument that Iana Van Zant made about the bus driver. Okay, the same argument. 15 years later, they're still making the same freaking argument. Okay, and black women are still doing this, still setting their feet and still have the same answers. Okay, the problem not gonna go away because there is no problem. Okay, there is no problem. Ain't no problem. This is what they want.
150 or above. That's your requirement.
So one of the things.
What I'm saying is, if you look at marriageable age, okay, if you look at marrying age, black group of black men and black marriageable age of any group, right? Okay, the men outnumber the women. If white men outnumber the white women up until they get into their 60s or something like that, okay? Because women live longer. But up until then, the white men outnumber the women. We're the only one where the imbalance starts showing up after the age of 18.
Things that Steve Harvey brings up here is that maybe the women are being too selective. But I want to play devil's advocate here for just a second, because I remember when I was in undergrad, and I remember a lot of the women were selective. Okay, like I remember, regardless, black.
See, there's the excuse. Okay, there's the excuse. The thing is, those women on undergrad can be selective. Can you?
Women, white women, a lot of the women were pretty selective.
See?
And if we go back to the math, we go back to the numbers. When I was in college, the male to female ratio was not cool. There were way more women at my college than there were men. So you already have a shortage. And that's for everybody. I went to the university. I graduated from the University of South Carolina. There were more women than there were men, regardless of color.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't a guy for every woman.
So why are there more white women married than black women? So why is that? Because you said because selective. Okay, do you their marriage rates have been higher than it was. It used to be. Our marriage rates used to be higher than theirs back in the 60s. It's not anymore. But
At college, there just wasn't. And then again, you got to go through those deletions, right? You got to remove the ones that are already in a relationship. You got to remove the ones that are LGBTQ. You have to remove the ones that are not interested in having a partner. And I bring up college because what I notice from my experience is that most of my female colleagues that are married their husband that they married, they met in college.
So you're saying black women don't meet black men in college? If that's the case, then at least, at the very least, 40% of college, 40% of college black women that graduate should be married.
I have 3 comrades I know from high school that married their high school sweetheart, but that's not as common nowadays. But only 3 of them that I know that married their high school sweetheart. One of them is divorced. People change. But most of my comrades that I know from college married the guy that they were in a serious relationship with in college. So if there is already a shortage of men at college, you're already working with the deficit.
The deficit is probably worse at the HBCUs. Okay, go look at your numbers. Yeah, they just talked about this shit about Howard. Okay, last I heard, Howard was an HBCU. Okay, about only 19% of black men were actually at Howard.
This is why I say math plays a part in that. Now, let's add on to that deficit a little bit because, like I told you,
why are black women allowed to experiment with other women and not be shamed? Once they experiment, they should be considered not be considered wife or dating material. It's because we don't hold women to the same standards that we hold men to.
Most black women prefer to marry a black man. So now if there are, we'll just use short numbers, like smaller numbers to make it easier. If there are 100 women at said college and there are 30 men, and let's say 10 of them are already in a relationship, let's say 5 of them may be LGBTQ.
Not really. Okay, not really keeping love alive. Not really. Okay, if that's the case, go look at the stats. Find me some stats because I could be wrong. Okay, find me some stats of the marriage rates from black people that graduated from HBCUs. Find me some stats. Okay, everybody keeps saying it. Okay. Because the HBCUs have had a lack of black male participation for the last 50 years. Okay, so black women have always outnumbered black males in college, especially since the 1950s. Okay, it's like 3 to 1. So find me some stats because you guys keep saying this, but find me some stats. My nephew is going to college, $25K a year tuition, ridiculous. Yeah. That is, and trying to get black people to send their kids out of the country to go to school is like pulling teeth.
There's 15 guys left and there's 100 women.
See?
And then if your choice is to marry a black man, let's say out of those 30 guys that, let's go a little bit generous, let's say 10 of them are black. So you're working with a deficit, right? Now, here's what I'm not going to do, because I think people are expecting me to do this, and no, it's not happening. What I am not going to do is to tell you that you need to go date someone that is not black, right? People have.
I said black women would rather die before they admit that they are the problem. The younger generation of men aren't going to be bothered. That is very true. I said there are a couple of marriages at my HBCU, but not the majority. That's what I'm talking about. Show me the numbers. I can show you people coming out of the projects to get married. Okay, show me the numbers.
Their type, people have their preference. You're attracted to what you're attracted to. I'm not one of those people that's going to tell you to go do that. But I do want you to understand that there is a deficit. You are working with more women and less men.
She sounds pretty native to me.
Now let's look at these women that they talked to 15 years ago.
And she says, sounds, if Michael Roth, before you accuse her of not being a native Black American, why don't you go find out and prove it? Okay. She went to school here, so.
Professional women, I want you to hear what they said.
What we looked at were the large numbers of professional Black women who groomed themselves for success with BAs, MDs, and JDs. 70% of them are still without the more elusive title, MRS.
I would be lying if I said that I don't have fleeting thoughts of, okay, I'm 32, my clock is ticking.
The tick-tock of the biological clock is getting louder.
You have proof of her being an anchor baby? Really? And she did say her family from the South, but I don't know what people. Basically, why don't you guys just listen and stop trying to project?
For several of Nicole's.
I said my deductions: out of shape, attitude, kids, boss energy, lazy, can't cook, unmarried mama, hygiene, unstable, noisy girlfriend, just flat out mean. How many Black women to choose from now? That is true. Her father was in the military. Okay, all right. I have no idea. People just come up with stuff, man.
Single friends. Meet Chateau Waters. She's a 32-year-old high school counselor pursuing a doctorate degree in psychology.
We have this thing called the Black girl curse. A lot of our white friends are married by 25, like happily married, kids by 27. And we're like, what is the deal with the BGs?
And with the Black girls, okay? See, you have all of them in their 30s saying the exact same thing that's been a problem, okay? You want your careers, you want your fun, and then you want a man to be there at the finish line to pick you up, okay?
That part is really interesting, right? So I can respond to that as well. That is something I did notice. Most of my white female colleagues got married pretty early.
I think your rookie of the year for it's gonna be what's the chick's name out of with the Washington Mystics from Notre Dame? I think she's gonna be rookie of the year. There are so many Black women on Hinge with master degrees that are on that professional escort timing, thinking Black men are going to pay to play. Yeah.
Like, granted, I went to school in the South, so just take that as an example. They're also in the South, so keep that in mind. But I can't count how many weddings I went to before I was 26. Can't count. But again, they married the guy that they were in a relationship with when we were in college. So they had already been together for like 4, 5, 6+ years. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, think about what she just said and think about the numbers that I just gave you. Once again, if she said they were already married by the time they were 25 and you're going back to college, there is already a deficit. We've covered on this show before that more Black women are going to undergrad and pursuing master's degrees and getting higher education. That hasn't changed from when I saw this video. That has continued to increase. And women are saying that they're not seeing that same ratio when it comes to.
Does that have to be a qualification for you to get married to somebody? Okay. You're going to the manufacturer. They act like they're complaining to the to an auto manufacturer, okay, to fix the Black men, okay, fix the ratio because we're not getting what we want.
Their potential partner at college. So how do you solve this? Because I don't like to leave people with this is the problem.
And then the vast majority of Black men that are the vast majority of Black men that come out of college should be married, okay? And I don't see it. Now, if you look at the white rates and the Asian rates and the Latino rates, everybody besides us, okay, you see the 80% marriage rate for women that have degrees, okay, or women that are in the upper class, okay, in the upper middle class. Well, for Black women, it doesn't translate.
And what do you do about it? One of the things is you try to meet people in different places, right? At school, I feel like we're lucky because, like, when you're in high school, you're put in a building with people, said classmates, you guys have gym, you guys have all this kind of stuff. So you're put in a space together. When you go to college on campus, you are put in a space together. After you leave college, things are a little bit different. You may move to a new city. You may live in a different type of community. You may, I don't know, maybe you're spending a lot of time at work. So you may not be able to have as much time to have extracurricular.
That's bullshit, okay? In the South, you work way more, you work way harder and way more time than you do in the city, okay? With a 9 to 5. That's bunk. Yeah, she used Shay as a prop. This content proves it. Yeah. I said, what other the other chicks prioritize marriage? They are married. We just stop the presses. We're breaking new ground here, are we? They did prioritize marriage, okay? And we talked. They talked about this. MDK Williams talked about this, right? About she actually said they should have prioritized marriage when they were in college. She said that, okay? And she said her mother and the other Black girl's mother said the exact same thing. Get your degree, get your career. Don't worry about no man until you get set, right? That's how come you have 4 Black women sitting around with degrees and good jobs and no man. Or okay jobs and no man.
Activities like you used to when you were an undergrad. These things happen, right? So where can you meet people? A lot of people cringe at this, but nowadays, the big one is online. The big one is the social, like, dating apps. And I know some people that have had success on those apps. But I also know some people that have some crazy, wild stories by dating people on those apps. But that's one place where you can meet people. The other,
you can make, if you want to take your Black behind outside, you can meet a whole bunch of people, okay? We don't, the gym is too creepy, so they say. You can meet people in the store, okay? You can meet people at a lounge. They have enough money. You could set up like back in the day, you used to have a lounge for upper class Black people to meet, okay? They did other things. There's trade associations. There's whole host of ways to meet. I would not be on Hinge. If I'm a professional, I'd be on LinkedIn should have a dating site, okay? For these Black women. They should have a dating site. If I was LinkedIn, I have a dating site. If you have to take a Black woman out to fancy restaurants early on and flex your career to get her attention, then you're asking to get taken advantage of as a simp. Yeah, I agree. The thing is, Black men are not complaining. Black men can get married.
other one is church. You know, if you go to church, if that's your thing, you can meet people at church. You can also meet people at other social, like, activities, etc. Sporting events, sports is a big one. You can meet people at, like, basketball games, football games, that type of thing. But it's tricky because at the same time, you don't want to make it seem like you out there looking for somebody if you're going to a basketball game.
Why not?
And oftentimes I think,
why not? Why not? This respectability politics. Like, I don't want to make it look like I'm chasing him.
I think these things happen when you least expect it to. I didn't even expect to get married. It just happened. Like literally, like, when I moved to Massachusetts, I didn't move here and say I was looking for somebody. It happened when I least expected it to. And I think sometimes that can be like the best case scenario when you're not looking and it just happens, right? And I want to hear from the men on this one too. Some of the things that I have heard from men is that they feel like There's nothing that they can offer you if you already have everything.
Here we go.
So let's go back to the college thing again.
Here we go.
If the numbers can
all the tropes, she's pulling out all of the tropes, okay? All the black girl talking points today, okay? All of them. Said both my sisters got married after college to working class men and then got advanced degrees. 20 years later, they're still married. Our grandmother let them know early on, you need to be married as a black woman in the South. Yep, I agree. To working class men. In fact, my daughter's dating, my daughter's a graduate. She's dating a blue collar guy, okay? And guess what? Even though there's a class differential, she's actually happy. She's asking me about him, okay? She should. I said, on one, I can't determine whether you should marry anybody or not. I said, that's on you, okay? I said, but he's a Southern gentleman. Okay, he's a working class dude, and you picked him, and he loves you, and he pays what he weighs. He loves you. He makes a good living, and he protects you. He protects my grandson. I don't have no problem with him. I said, you have to determine whether you can live with him or not. She's trying to find an excuse because of her girlfriends. Okay. Well, all my girlfriends, blah blah blah. See, they said, you're not marrying your girlfriends. You just have to. If you want this guy, you have to put up with it. Okay. Even the black woman who makes $200K salaries or broke from buying designer bags and traveling, they're looking for rich black simps and not husbands. The master's degree and the corporate job is a red flag. Very true. Very true. Starting to bleed over into the white realm too. The same shit.
continue the way that they are, where there's more black women in college than black men, it could be possible that there could be some type of an intimidation factor. If a guy meets you and he sees that you have a bachelor's degree, you have a master's degree, you have a condo, you have everything that you need, he may be tempted to ask, what can I do for you?
Why should he ask, what can he do for you? Okay. He should be, a pimp would say, what can you do for me? Why do you want to be with me? And he should ask that. Why do you want to be with me? Because I don't want you nagging me about trying to change me once we get together. Because guys that are happy with who they are and what they're doing, man, they don't want no chick to come home to a chick that's gonna nag them about where they're supposed to be. Okay. Now, it's one thing about dating 92s. Okay, you got to remember they're gonna try to push you. Okay, if you're below them, okay, if you're below them, they're gonna try to pull you. Most women will try to pull you up if you're below them. Okay, and so if you're with a 92 and you're a working class guy, she's gonna try to pull you up. The thing is, can you withstand her nagging you about where you're not at? Okay, can she let you be content? That's something you have to work out. They made a stink of most avenues. Yep. Just looked up her white husband. They want to be white girls so bad. They marry early but get divorced 60% of the time. It's initiated 80% of by the time Europe has the highest divorce rate in the world. That's true.
How can I help you if you already have everything? That's some of the things that I've heard from people. That doesn't mean don't go to school. That doesn't mean don't have a career, but it's just something to think about. Listen to what else they say.
And it's the black girl.
Jakeen Ashford is a chemist for a pharmaceutical company. Now that she's 34, she's lowered the bar when it comes to height requirements.
Listen to this. Listen, and she's a chemist, okay? She's a freaking chemist. Okay, she ain't no baddie. She ain't out there high fashion model. Listen what you want.
I don't have a certain criteria, like if you're not 6'5", and I used to, but then as I got older, I said, okay, well maybe if you're 6'3", 6'2", 6'1", okay, maybe we could see eye to eye. I kind of have certain standards that I
see how long this stuff has been around. Okay, she's pretty. See how long this stuff has been around. That's why she's not married.
I hold myself to, and I don't feel like I should have to settle.
I have to settle. Okay. Have to settle. Hear that word? Okay. Have to settle. Okay.
Okay. And then there's things like this. Now, again, this still was 15 years ago. I don't know. All of these women could be married today, as far as I know. I really don't know. But at the time, they were not. And they said they were looking for someone and they wanted to get married. This type of requirement where someone has to be 6'5". First of all, most men are not. I don't even think most men are 6'2". So that's a high requirement.
Only 17% of the American male population is over 6 feet tall.
Now, I'm assuming this woman here, maybe she's tall. She's sitting down, so I don't know. Maybe she's tall, but I think that's a bit much. I think that's a bit much. 6'5", 6'6", or whatever. I mean, come on. Those are like basketball player like heights. So most men are not that height. Someone said 5'9" is the average. So there you go. Yeah. So that is going to make it harder for you.
For the sake of having somebody, I'm willing to wait.
Like many black men, she's also.
I don't want to settle. I'm willing to wait. Okay. I'm going to wait till I'm 50. Okay. As a great collar brother, I have yet to meet a black woman with a bachelor's or master's degree that even comes close to what I make. They are the main character in a movie that the public is sick of watching. That is very true. Okay. That is very true. Said I dated a black lawyer who was 34, but she had $100K student loan debt, but walks around like she's above black men. Yeah, and I think that's the problem. Okay, the problem is not what they earn. Maybe if he's 6'2", okay, she proved my LeBron James super chat right. As a person, I have to admit my shortcomings to move forward. Black women seem to have the inability to do this. The thing is, okay, say none of the black men had degrees, okay? None of them had degrees. It was 100% black women that went to college and 100% black men that didn't, okay? Now what? Now what? This is what you have. What are you going to do? Stay unmarried? Well, stay unmarried. Black men really don't care. Settling is nothing but a cop-out in this is indirectly admitting that she sucks at hypergamy. That is very true. And because most STEM guys are not 6'5", okay? As the matriarchal may be more fitting. Anyhow, let me go back because there was something that Shay Sade had a white feminist on, right? And something she said about settling, okay? So, and I'm getting ready to get out of here in a minute. I said, some black women don't get. Both my sisters and their husbands bought cheap, large, older houses outside Atlanta. Atlantic or Atlanta? I was my two brother-in-laws that did the carpentry. Oh, okay. With my two brother-in-law, carpentry, flooring, plumbing, electrical. Single black women friends are jealous. Yeah. Yeah. It's called working with your man. But I want to play this before I go because I'm getting ready to get out of here in a minute and make room for Snowman because the Indiana fever coming on with all this controversy. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, this is what the white was. Oh, now this is a white feminist that she just interviewed maybe a couple of weeks ago, right? Okay, and I actually played the bit of this white feminist here on the channel. Okay.
If you could maybe choose, I don't know, 2 or 3 things that you would maybe tell your younger self or advise women who are actively embracing feminism as the gospel truth, what would that be? What would you advise the women who are looking to go down the same road that you did?
Well, I would say you can still have a career. You don't need.
See, that's a white woman, right? Sir Anthony, appreciate you.
Need to put that first. Find a good man. Don't think of it as settling, because the man
See, don't think of it as settling.
who wants you is probably going to be a good man. That's also it. He's going to pick you probably, and you're going to be okay with it or not. So basically, it was always the women who said, yeah, he's coming after her. And she's like, nah. She still has the ultimate control.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is chasing after you, he's probably going to love you for the rest of your life.
If he's putting in that pursuit.
Yes. And, don't think of it as settling, because this is somebody who's going to cherish you and protect you and, give you the opportunity to have children and do it as soon as possible. There's plenty of time to have a career. You can go to college when the kids are in school and you can have it all. I don't really see it as an either or thing, which is the big mistake that I made.
The either or.
And also the other thing is that I think we jumped onto the divorce train far too easy.
And that's the other thing, okay? That's the other thing that she didn't talk about, okay? All the negative stats that occur with Black women, Sabrina left out, okay? Have 80% divorce rate in the Black community, 80%, okay? 70-80% divorce rate in the Black community, right? 80% are filed by who? Black women. The average Black marriage only lasts 5 years. That is a recipe for disaster. And what did the white woman say? Because first thing, what's first thing? And you all still hear about that S word, right? That Black women throw around, right? Settling, right? That white woman said, okay, white women settle. If he's a good man and he has the qualities that I want, he don't have to be perfect. I'm going to settle for him. That's out of a white woman's mouth. Okay, they what are the first thing they say about white women? They don't settle. Okay, you don't ask the white woman to settle. You don't ask the white woman to settle. The first thing out of their mouths. They always compare themselves to the white woman. Y'all don't ask the white woman to settle. Well, the white woman just said white women settle. Okay, that's like white women get married before the age of 25. Okay, that's like white women get married before they have children. Okay. Most white women do not have children until like they're 27 or 28, right? Black women most Black women have children before the age of 21. Most do. The median age for a Black woman to have a kid is 23. Okay, recipe for disaster. Appreciate you, Miss Delta. 23. There was one more that I might want to play from the Feminists. Let's see if I can find it.
And the truth is that women are not like men. We don't feel the same way about sex. Deep down, want to have children, getting mixed messages, don't know which way to go. And also there's this illusion that you have all of this control over everything, but actually you don't. Now, where my mother was dating to get married, my mother's generation, everybody dated to get married. That was the end goal. Everybody shared that goal. My generation, I would say, is the first where you don't really know what you're doing. And about half the girls in my high school just went and got married. They didn't go to college. Some of them, they got pregnant from their high school boyfriend, and maybe that relationship didn't really work out. And then they married somebody else and stayed married to that person.
Right.
So a lot of them, went the high school to motherhood pipeline. And I remember looking at them and thinking they were just so dumb. I mean, why would they do that? You don't have to do this anymore. You can go out and have a career. Like, what was wrong with them? And I even sort of assumed I was better.
That's the Kool-Aid that Black women drank, and not only drank it, they outdid the white women with it.
Than they were, because I was going to do these really great things, but I wasn't doing anything. I was just working in restaurants and living in a crappy apartment and thinking that I'm leading this exciting, Mary Tyler Moore life, but it was actually pretty lonely, and I was broke and, certainly not progressing really in any real way, while they've already got 3 kids.
So interesting. You're saying that, well, a couple of things here, because in theoretically, feminism is supposed to be about giving women choice. inequality, right? If they can choose to marry, they can choose not to marry. They
They've
can
always had choices, though. I mean, that's the other thing. It's
They've always had choices. Say it again, white girl.
like nobody ever was forcing women really. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. That's terrible. It's just what people did, right? It's just what people did. But in my own family, my grandmother's cousin was a lesbian and bought a house with her girlfriend, and they lived together. My grandmother would never have admitted that they were gay, but they were. I had wound up on a camping trip next to the camper of the gym teacher from our high school with her girlfriend, and
there's a lot of more stuff I could play around this because it's such a big topic. In fact, there was Psychax had something about I might I'll do that one after Angel Research. I actually was going to do that one yesterday about Psychax and talk about did women most women nowadays want optionality, which is why they're not getting married as soon as they used to, is because of fear of missing out. Okay. And social media and other kind of things have actually lit a fire to that. I might do that one on Thursday, or today's what? Tuesday. Yeah, I might do that one on Thursday. Okay. I was going to do that one because because there was a comedian. She was saying that most women want to ride all the rides. Okay, and they don't want to get locked down with the they want to get locked down with their preferred partner, which she called their prize, because they won't be able to get on, they won't be able to ride on the rides anymore. Which is why they don't want to marry early. They want to marry later after they finish, sowing their wild oats or their wild eggs, as they say. Okay. Anyhow, let me get out of here. He said, and they do that throughout college. Yeah. Yeah, Savvy's a swirler. Okay. I think swirlers are in a different category. Okay. Swirlers are the type of women that, as we call them, basically, they date white men and they throw it in black men's faces. That's what they advocate for white marriage, right? Okay. Sabby does not advocate for white marriage. She said, I happen to get married to a white man. And normally we don't put those kind of women in swirler categories. Okay. I said women want to be convinced to be married, whereas the past it was the norm. Yeah, that's very true. Between the carousel and Rose Toys, them lost this cast and lost some sensation. There's there's so much literature on that about them, the carousel and that kind of stuff, man. And basically, in fact, I was watching two women talking about men ejaculating into women and women carrying the DNA of all these men past relationships. So, and feminists correcting themselves, BGS, what the hell is going on? I detect no delusion. Basically, what they're finding out, after they run the experiment. What do you do when you run an experiment? The experiment doesn't work. Okay, you got to admit that it was a bad experiment. Okay. Yeah, military brats do swirl. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, military people do swirl. They do it. It's normal for them. The rose and rise of all knowledge is a hidden relation to the swirls of relate. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's a whole bunch. I'm not even going to get into it about the structure of society and the decay of society because this kind of stuff is not new and it doesn't matter because lesbianism, where marriages are declining in other parts of the world, is not a thing. Okay, so that is not the reason. PWI swirl heaven. As far as black women dating or having sex with white men, they were brought here. were brought here from Africa to have sex with white men. That has never been a thing. The only block to interracial dating or marriage, okay, was toward black men. Black men could not have sex outside their race, okay, and it was blocked by the society up until recently. Okay, black women have never had. Now, black women could not always marry a white man, but she could have sex with him. In fact, a lot of white men demanded that she have sex with him. 6'3" with a computer science STEM degree, but it feels kind of useless these days. If you have a STEM degree, okay, talk to Theo. Okay, Theo got these folks making money. Yeah, out of system. Well, they have the option to do it. I'm not. Yeah. Sometimes you can tell. Sometimes you can tell. Anyhow, let me get out of here. Black one dated out a lot of PWIs as well. I'm saying, uh, that's all I'm saying. We opened the gates by going to those places. It is what it is. Black women have always had the access to white peen. Okay, and sometimes white peen was forced upon them. White peen was always available to black women, always. Okay, white black woman, unless if she was halfway decent looking, some white man was going to try to get between her legs. Okay. And very true, BGS. I think back before they decided to ban all IR marriage, there were a couple states that only banned white. Well, yeah. It's always been a case. Anyway. Computer science and STEM. That's what he's talking about. Computer science degrees. No, well, the thing is, you got to use it properly. Okay. Computer science degrees are oversaturated. Not really. If you have the skills, there's places you can still use it. The thing is, the thing is with your degree is not going to get you a job. Okay. The thing is, you have to use your degree, your knowledge to actually advance your skills. Your skills get you the job, not the degree. That's always been the case, though. Anyhow, y'all, let me get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm getting ready to go check out the. I think I'm gonna check out the Fever game. Okay, since they're hot and they're in the news, I'm gonna sit back and watch them, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm thinking about putting. I was looking at Angel Reese's and Caitlin Clark's and Trump's astrology charts. I'm thinking about putting that up on my Patreon. Okay, it's really interesting, man, because as soon as you see the charts, I started laughing because these people are exactly who that their chart says they are, which is funny as hell. So, but that's going to be coming. Yeah, link with Theo, you'll get paid. Yeah, Ninja Person, yeah. If you link with Theo, he'll get you paid. There's a lot of ways to get paid in the in that sphere. Okay, you just have to your skills have to match what the employer wants. That's all. There's no channel name. Ninja Person, go ahead and drop Theo's info before I jump out of here. Theo's gonna be the busiest man in the manosphere in a minute. Yeah, you can search for Theo on my channel. Yeah. In fact, yeah, I did a whole video explaining the program. So, okay, all right, Ninja Person. If that's the case, yeah, just search for Theo Waff on my channel, and it'll come up. So some of those computer science. The thing is, if the degree doesn't mean anything if you don't have the skills. Okay. The thing is, if you want to get paid, then you will adapt your skills to the market. And if you don't want to get paid and you want to wave your degree in people's faces, that doesn't do it. Like a guy told me in college, right? He said, your degree and a cup of coffee Your degree and $1 will get you a cup of coffee. The paper doesn't mean anything if you don't adapt your skills to what the market wants out of you. Ask these women out here. Anyhow, good people. I have punched my clock. It's time for me to punch out.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Muzyka Denis 7.